very much, Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next question, number 3, has been asked by Malema. Honorable President.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. The first goal of our vaccination program is to ensure that we rapidly reduce the number of people who get very sick or die from COVID-19. The second goal, as I was saying earlier, is to achieve population immunity. It is estimated that population immunity will be achieved when around 67% of our country's population has been achieved, which, as I was saying earlier, has been estimated to be around 40 million people. To achieve the first goal of preventing as much COVID-19 related disease, the hospitalization and death as rapidly as possible, the National Vaccination Program will prioritize those at the greatest risk. The evidence shows that age is the single factor most strongly associated with the severity of COVID-19 disease, and therefore phase 2 of the vaccination program will target all people who are over 60 years of age. At the same time, it will also target people of 40 years and older in vulnerable settings, such as frontline workers. Phase 3 of the program will then target the rest of the adult population. The selection of vaccines for use in South Africa requires, amongst other things, that they be approved by the South African Health Products Regulatory Authority as being effective against the dominant strains of SARS-CoV-2 in the country. Currently, Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson vaccines have been registered by SAPRA. And as indicated in my earlier reply, these vaccines have been selected for procurement. The prices that government has contracted to pay for the vaccines are $10 per dose for Johnson & Johnson, and the same for the Pfizer dose. A wide range of vaccination sites have been identified. These include, amongst others, primary healthcare clinics, community pharmacies, general practitioners, centers, public and private hospitals, and travel clinics. Vaccinations will also be done by mobile teams at mass vaccination sites that have been set up, or that are going to be set up and are being set up at conference centers and other facilities. And in some workplaces, such as government departments, mines, and factories, we've been very fortunate that a number of employers have said that they are also prepared to pay for the setting up of these centers in their own facilities or premises. All vaccination sites must meet certain legislative requirements and go through an accreditation process. By the end of April, the Department of Health has enrolled 3,357 accredited vaccination sites. A comprehensive logistics, as well as a supply chain plan, is in place. This includes all supply chain preparations and activities from when the vaccine arrives in the country until it is made available for vaccination at each vaccination site. A critical path of this is an effective cold chain to maintain the safety as well as the efficacy of the vaccine and to match demand with supply and enable the tracing and tracking of vaccines. Now, the electronic vaccine data system, or what we call the EVDS, is the backbone of our vaccination program because it provides end-to-end solutions that is used to digitally capture each event in the vaccination process and provides data to monitor all vaccinations that are administered. And this we also I've learned from the manufacturers. I went to the manufacturing factory in Gqeberha and saw how they calibrate the vaccine doses. And each vial has a number. Each vial is clearly identified, and they will know where each dose or vial has ended up. Highly digitized, and we are seeking to do something that's similar with our vaccination program. Every person to be vaccinated will need to register and will receive details of the date and time slot for vaccination. For many South Africans who do not have access to the internet, both digital and walk-in systems will be used for registration. And callers may also register on a toll-free helpline. Provision has been made for alternative capturing of a unique identifier for individuals who do not have an identity document. Now, the magnitude of the COVID-19 vaccination program requires dedicated staff at both national, provincial, and district levels. Based on the experience of phase 1, staffing requirements and norms for vaccination sites have been estimated to guide planning, budgeting, and recruitment. These norms may vary depending on the specifics of each particular site. Government itself is committed to ensuring that every person 18 years and older will be able to be assisted in this regard. The costs will be covered from public funds for uninsured people and medical aids for those who are insured as part of the prescribed minimum benefits. This will be the first time in South Africa's history that a national vaccination program aimed at adults will be rolled out. It is an enormous undertaking that will require the support, the cooperation of all parts of society. Now, a comprehensive plan is in place, resources have been mobilized, and a steady supply of vaccines have been procured so that every adult should have the opportunity to go through this process. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next supplementary is by Honorable Malik.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. Mr. President, I know that this matter was raised with you earlier, and I'm told that the Deputy Speaker didn't allow it. It is in your own wisdom if you want to. Because standing here, I'm confused if you are legitimate in Parliament, since your membership of the party which lends you a seat in Parliament has been suspended. And anything else that you do now, even when you know you are no longer a member of your party, will amount to fraudulent activities. Nevertheless, Mr. President, I don't understand whether you guys are involved in transaction or in saving life. Because Sputnik and Sinovac have proven to work and has been subjected to peer reviews, and many countries are now using Sputnik. But you are hell-bent at feeding us with Pfizer and J&J. For what reason, I don't know. And the only reason we can suspect is that you are a shrewd businessman who might be prioritizing money over the lives of our people. And I plead with your conscience that please do the right thing. Let's save life. Leave transactions aside. It's not a point of a transactions now. Put your money-loving attitude aside, save life.
No. Honorable Malema, hold on, please. There's a point of order. What's the point of order?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker. I'm rising on Rule 85. The person who was speaking before has cast aspersions on the character of the president that he's making deals for his own self-interest. That part must be dealt with a substantive motion. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Malema, that remark as referred to, you know it is out of order, right?
No, the president will decide to answer that or not.
Oh, no. Honorable Malema, this is a matter for...
Now to defend transactions now. Are you here to defend lives or you want to defend transactions now? I'm asking a simple question. I'm asking a question whether they are involved in transactions or in programs of saving lives.
Honorable Malema, the presiding officer is asking you to withdraw a statement that casts the expression according to Rule 85. Could you do that, please, and then proceed?
What is the statement saying?
The honorable...
The statement, Deputy Chair, it's a question.
The honorable member who rose, whether by disguised as a question or as a statement, it is out of order when you imply that the president might be involved in things that are not legal or illegal practically. So if you don't do it by way of a substantive motion, it is not appropriate to even insinuate it. Can you withdraw it, please?
Okay, I'm withdrawing the transaction. I'm withdrawing it.
Should I answer?
No, I'm still asking. I'm still asking.
What are you asking?
It's my turn. The president says, can he answer? It's still my time. Why are you treating me like I'm a stepchild? What's your problem?
Honorable member. Honorable member, can you behave for once?
Not for once. I'm always behaving. You are an old man that always misbehaves in this parliament.
In the first place, your time is here. And you...
It's not true. You stopped me because someone called point of order.
Yes.
This will not take you anywhere. You guys are involved in transactions. You are stealing money of our people. You're compromising.
Anger management is needed here.
Honorable Silo.
Order, Deputy Speaker.
Honorable Silo Malema.
Why don't you cool down, Lichisa? You are prepared. Why don't you cool down, Lichisa? You are perpetually hot.
This thing that the president, every time he comes here, all of you are heated and you are defending him when majority of our people are dying. It's a problem, that thing. It must come to an end.
There's a disruption around here. We can't hear you properly. I'm trying to protect you so that you can proceed.
I'm disrupted by the president. The president disrupted me.
Hey, please, right. Just calm down. No. Can you be in order and proceed? These remarks you are making here will follow them up. Proceed and ask your question. And don't make allegations that are ill-founded, out of order, and not appropriate to make.
It's the job of parliamentarians to ask executive questions, including uncomfortable questions. Now, my point is, the president does not have the interest of our people at heart, because all of these other vaccines that are working, he would have by now procured them and made sure that they are distributed in South Africa. Why is SAPRA taking forever to approve an emergency use of Siphon and Sputnik? What plans are there to include the private sector to make sure that we vaccinate as many people as possible, because we know that the ANC government has got no capacity to vaccinate as many people as possible. So
your time is expired.
So those are my questions, Deputy Speaker, including the question on transactions. Do they want money or do they want to save lives?
Honorable member, can you be in order? And we'll follow up these things you are saying there from the virtual platform. Honorable President, please proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. I thought that Honorable Malema had concluded with this question. That's why I asked you whether I should answer. And I am sorry that he took offense at my inquiry, which was to you. We are not in the business of making transactions over the lives of our people. We enter into transactions to purchase vaccines, to acquire vaccines, to save the lives of our people. We do not enter into transactions to advance our own interests, either as individuals or as any other entity. I just want to make that very clear to Honorable. On the issue of other vaccines, there are a number of other vaccines that are in the process of being assessed. And as you yourself correctly said, Honorable Malema, you know that SAPRA, our authority, Health Products Authority, yes, is in the process of assessing a number of vaccines. Sputnik included, Sinopharm included. And as we have often said, we are involved in discussions and negotiations with a number of vaccine manufacturers or developers that also include the two. And we have taken care to make sure that those vaccines that have been developed in our fellow BRICS countries are vaccines that we should also focus attention on. And I know for a fact that those two countries have taken some time to develop various relationships, because relationships have to be developed and partners here and so forth, and thereafter to present the product for testing and assessment by SAPRA. And that is in the process. I am not able to answer for SAPRA, and I do not know the full details of the scientific processes that they get involved in, but I do know that they take their work very seriously, and they are also aware of the urgency that this moment presents to all of us, and that urgency also underpins the way they do their work. So I have all the confidence, and I know that they will do the best for the people of South Africa. We are all here to save the lives of our people, and we do not play games with the lives of our people. From the onset of this pandemic, all that we've been focused on is how best we can save the lives of our people. Some of us don't sleep much, Honorable Malema, because we are continuously concerned, worried, and agonizing about the lives of South Africans and how best we can secure the lives of the people of South Africa. It is a task and indeed a burden that you may take lightly, but some of us take it very seriously, and we will not play games with the lives of South Africans. Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, President.
Deputy Speaker, I didn't answer my question on cooperation with the private sector because of the incapacity of the state.
Well, I thought that had been included in the earlier answer, where I was saying the development of our rollout plan has enjoyed the participation of all our stakeholders. The private sector has been a key participant. You may be interested to know that almost on a daily basis, meetings are held in one shape, form, or another, starting off with the Deputy President leading the interministerial committee that deals with vaccines. At the departmental level, the same obtains, as well as at the NCCC, we get reports, but more importantly, in relation just to the vaccine program, there is a team that is just completely focused on the program, and it includes the private sector participants. It is interesting to hear Honorable Malema seeking to know about the participation of the private sector. They are at the heart of this. So is labor, and so are other sectors in our society. And this is one thing that we can be proud of, just like we should be proud of NEDLAC. And in this case, it is an implementation arm of our program where all are involved in the way that I've identified or I've set them out. Private sector, the churches or the religious sector, community-based organizations, labor, and many others. Our scientists and our experts, they are all part of this. So when it comes to the robustness of the team that is overseeing the implementation of the program, I don't have sleepless nights. I know that it is in good hands, and we've got the best brains that are involved in all this. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Before I give to honorable members, every time presiding officers begin the House, they start with reading movements of members. New members, it is announced, including in whose office they affirmed and or took an oath. If we don't mention anybody there, please don't smuggle movements that do not exist, with the greatest respect. So this is the requirement, that you must formally let us know that there's movement. If you don't, we assume it doesn't exist. So no one else can claim that it exists. This is important. The rules that have been formed here are not for me or for any individual person. They are for the entire House. So let's play by the House. As whips, given your understanding of the allocation of time, this has been approved and agreed. You can't come and turn the House into a bargaining council. Speak to Honorable Mason if you want some tips and where to do that. Kindly save the House. It's time to deal with substantive issues in the House. And kindly mind your language. Honorable members, we take exception to crude, out of order language that is rude, that is unparliamentary, that has been declared so frequently. We're repeating those every time we are in the House. I'm pleading with you that it's not appropriate. The next
point of order.
Second
point of order.
Yes, what's the point of order?
You're just waffling now. What are you saying?
Can you take your seat?
No, but you're waffling now.
There is no. We are Delela, Honorable Shivambo.
I'm asking you a question. You're waffling. What are you saying?
Honorable member, take your seat. If you don't understand, if you did not hear, take your seat.
Hey, but you must stop waffling as well, because you must.
Honorable member, you were saying I'm waffling. All right. Now listen here.
You're wasting our time.
It's parliamentary.
Speak to me like that. Don't speak to me like that.
No, you're out of order.
When you're out of order.
Honorable member.
I want to speak to us.
Honorable member. Honorable member.
What the hell then?
Honorable member,
but how should we say the
Yeah, Honorable Shivambu, you are out of order.
Use that language. Who gives you the right to use that language?
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Shivambu, is unparliamentary what you are saying.
Honorable Speaker. Deputy Speaker.
Deputy Speaker.
Deputy Speaker.
Who's there?
It's me, Julius here.
Honorable, who's speaking?
Julius.
Ngola.
Honorable Malema?
He's asking, on which item are you? He's asking that. It's as simple as that. Parliament works according to agenda. There is an adopted agenda. Now, you can't just speak. We don't hear what you are saying.
Hey, hey, what's so good is
All right, honorable member, take your seat too. We have heard you. If you have missed the agenda we were on, it's unfortunate. I'm not going back there. We are proceeding to the item on the agenda, and I'm going to request Honorable Dromo to ask the second.
Yeah, but Deputy Speaker, please, that's what this honorable member is saying.
Julius, keep quiet also.
On a point of order,
Keep
Chair.
quiet, man. We're not running this parliament.
Order.
Can you just
Order.
Order, Deputy Speaker.
please? Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is parliamentary. When you break the rule, when you break the honorable member, honorable member, honorable member, when you break the rules, you must expect that it's not going to be appropriate when you break the rules, okay?
But what if the rulings are broken?
Yes, honorable member.
And what if the presiding officer is breaking the rules?
Hey,
Deputy Speaker, order.
Honorable members, I'll give 1, 2. What's the
And
point
myself.
We are raising a point of order here to say that there is an agenda of questions to the president. It's only one item on the agenda of today's sitting. And in the middle, you stand there with Delela and then you waffle there. That is what you did. And we're asking you, what do you do that? Why would Delela Parliament so?
Honorable Shibambo.
Because that is not part of the agenda. Why are you doing that? And where in the Parliament agenda today
Honorable member.
It say that you're going to waffle here and speak about things that are not part of the agenda?
Honorable Shibambo. Honorable Shibambo, you go podula fast.
But listen to Honorable Shivambu. Lichisa, uko umame.
Honorable.
Point of order, Deputy Speaker.
The hybrid rules.
Deputy Speaker.
Had several times opened the mic without being recognized.
Yeah.
Deputy Speaker, may you please take action on that because it's a complete violation of hybrid rules to open your mic and speak without being recognized.
But
Yes.
he must listen. He has to listen as a president.
Again, he has just done it.
It's the third time. Honorable Rosie, you are breaking this rule for the third time. You are unrepentant on this matter. You know it is the breaking of the rules. Honorable Padebe.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm rising on Rule 78.3. Really, no member of Parliament must undermine the authority of the presiding officer. I think what has happened now is precisely that, because you are given the authority to chair the House. No one must try to tell you how to do the job. And then number 2, Chair, once you have made a ruling, the members know that if they're uncomfortable with that ruling, they know where they have to take it to the Rules Committee. Thank you, Chair.
Your point of order is sustained and it will be followed up. It will be followed up with a formal ruling and action. Honorable members, I requested Honorable Dromo to ask the next supplementary question. Is the second question.
Mongameli wethu kule comprehensive plan ngabe khona yini into ethi uhulumeni wethu usuqalile ukufocusa kwi-local manufacturing yemithi nemijovo. Siyakwamukela, siyakujabulela uhlelo lokugonywa oluqhubekayo njengamanje, kodwa mongameli eminingi yale mithi nemijovo esinayo silindele ibhanoyi noma umkhumbi ophuma kwamanye amazwe ukuletha le mijovo la ekhaya. Kanti ke mongameli ukushona edlulile wake wasixoxela ukuthi ubhoke i-students walapha eSouth Africa okuyinto esiyijabulelayo kakhulu leyo. Inisa umnotho, ukuqashwa kwabantu ekhaya nokwehlisa ukweswela. Zimi kanjani mongameli izinhlelo zahulumeni wethu zokusungula imboni eyakha imithi nemijovo la eSouth Africa for ukusizakala abantu bethu nezilwane zethu esizifuyile. Singalolu umkhonto mongameli uzuphelele etsheni. I just want to say in closing, it's important that parties that are well represented here must listen to their members who sit in the Portfolio Committee of Health. Just yesterday, we had SAPRA making a presentation, and the ignorance that is actually coming out of this meeting, it's actually very concerning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Honorable Jomo Ngiyabonga. Eksempeleni ukuthi si South Africa sizimisela ukuthi imithi eminingi evikela impilo zabantu nemijovo sifuna ukuthi iyenzwe la ekhaya. Amanye amazwe sebayitholile indlela yokuthi bazenzele imithi nemijovo. Bona ngokwabo bayazenzela. I-India ilizwe elinjalo namanye. La eAfrika yithi kuphela esikwazi okwamanje ukuthi sibe nendlela yokuthi sikwazi ukumanufacture ama-vaccines. Kodwa kusasele nje through our facility BioVac yona enze indlela eziningi zokuthi ikwazi nayo ukuthi ikwazi ukwenza imijovo. Sifuna ukuthi i-capacity yabo ye-BioVac la sihlangane khona ne-private sector nohulumeni as their owners nayo ikhule sikwazi ukuthi si-develope ama-vaccines wethu. Ngiye ngathi uMinister Blade Nzimande ngathi njengoba ehambisa uhlelo lwe-science and technology ngathi masike sicele ama-scientists ethu ukuthi bake bayibuke kahle le ndaba, lolu daba lokwenza imijovo la ekhaya. Namanje iqalile leyo process yokuthi ama-scientists wethu zama ukuthola indlela sokuenza ukuthi si-develope ama-vaccines. Ngoba kunenqeza imbili. Eyokuqala is the developer, and at the same time, the second one is the manufacturer. We have developed the capability to manufacture vaccines. The BioVac facility, as well as Aspen and a number of others, they are able, when given all the formulas, they are able to manufacture vaccines. What we need is to develop our own vaccines, and this is where our scientists, our medical experts come in. Already we develop our own animal vaccines. The animals that we have in our country are vaccinated from time to time against a variety of diseases. And many of those are manufactured here, and we just don't even need to leapfrog. We just need to move to the second level. And with the TRIPS waiver now being negotiated at the World Trade Organization, we are going to be able, yes, to manufacture in a big way, but it is the development side. Now, when it comes to the development side of vaccines, we held a meeting the other day. As you know, South Africa has been identified as the champion of COVID-19. We held a meeting where we spoke about Africa's capacity, developing capacity, that Africa should develop its own capacity to develop and to conceptualize vaccines. We are busy with that. We've seen it as a major challenge. We first saw it, if I may say so, with the PPEs. The PPEs, the development, the manufacturing rather of PPEs was largely outside of our continent. And within a short space of time, we saw a number of African-based companies and entities beginning to develop and manufacture their own PPEs, from ventilators right through to cloth masks and so forth. So the capability resides on our continent, and all that it has needed is that there should be a necessity, and as they say in the classics, necessity is the mother of invention. And that's where we are being led to. That's exactly the direction we are going. Many leaders on the continent have now united in saying Africa must develop its own capacity to develop vaccines. And we in South Africa are taking it very seriously, and government is going to lead in this and work with the private sector to make sure ukuthi yonke le mijovo kuma pandemic, kule pandemic esikuyo manje na kuma pandemic azolandela, ukuthi sikwazi ukuthi leyo mijovo iyenzwe la eSouth Africa. And for us, it's a security matter. We have seen how the lack of vaccines that we make ourselves has posed a real serious security challenge, which has sovereign implications, because we wait for others outside of our own borders to make vaccines available. So we are at their mercy. And we now are saying we need to be doing it ourselves. And the message is spreading, the noise is growing, and the capability will soon reside in Africa. Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. President. The third supplementary is asked by the leader of the opposition.
Mr. President, history has shown us that the only people who should be worried about angry young men are out of touch old men. And I'm very happy to give you the recipe for the lunchtime, because maybe if you had a bit more fire in your belly, the country wouldn't be in the trouble that it is in at the moment. Mr. President, I'm sure you're watching what's happening in India with some concern, although you are lucky enough to have been vaccinated. The only way we're going to prevent that from happening here in South Africa is through a widespread vaccination program here. And yes, people in South Africa are angry. They're angry because your government has failed so spectacularly to roll out a vaccination program in South Africa. Many countries around the world and the continent are nearly finished their programs or very well into them, and we have yet to put a single government jab in a single arm in South Africa. So much for science, Dr. Jacobs. We're so far behind the rest of the world. I don't know what science you studied, but it clearly wasn't worth it. Mr. President, what preparations have you made? What preparations have you made in terms of vaccine procurement and new surges in transmission, and particularly the threat of the new Indian variant?
Mr. President.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. The variant that is being experienced in India is most worrying. It's most worrying because it is engulfing the entire country,